Tonight, for the first time, we're taking you behind the scenes of a heroin overdose. It's part of a much bigger story about local ambulance companies and how they're dealing with the huge strain of overdose calls. We've seen some ambulance companies shut down and others look for new ways to make money as the amount they get paid goes down and the amount of work they have to do goes up. Dillon Richards has our special report dragging them down.
So what exactly did the call say?
I'm sorry?
What exactly did the call say?
It's a Delta overdose. She's found in the break room. I don't know if she's responsive or not. We're gonna find out.
This is how they start the overdose calls. I'm with Ashley Pardis with the West End Ambulance Company. We're speeding toward another heroin overdose. This time it's at the Giant Eagle on Fairfield Avenue, about the 41st. Just this one company's gone to just this year. They found a customer unconscious inside.
Right above the stairs.
Ashley heads in like she does for all these calls, Narcan in tow.
Narcan.
That's, of course, that life-saving drug, the one that can stop an overdose in its tracks.
All right, so what we're doing is she has obvious signs of an overdose. So we're gonna go ahead and give her Narcan up the nose. And hopefully that'll get her going. Here you go, baby.
It's quick. It takes just a couple seconds, and Ashley's used to this. She goes on tons of these calls. In person, she's fun. She makes jokes while she's out working. She laughs. But on this scene, with an overdose victim in front of her,
Hey, Carol.
she's all business. She doesn't yell or snap.
Hey, one of you guys just grab the monitor in case I need it.
She's calm.
Hello?
Hi, honey.
It's routine.
Can you wake up for us?
Just like that fast. They've saved a life.
You're fine. No, you were dead.
And this happens, as it often does. The woman argues with the paramedics, tries to tell them she didn't overdose.
I gave you Narcan, so don't lie.
Either tell them what you took or you can go to jail, okay?
Ashley's got to fight for basic information.
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
She's also got to fight to do basic medical care.
Put your leg down and preferably do not kick me, please.
Frustrates everybody here, including the police.
This is your last chance to cooperate.
Now one of Ashley's toughest jobs begins. She can't make anyone go to the hospital. Basically, she has to beg with this patient to go with her.
Since we're not 100% sure how much you took and your blood pressure's a little high, which is normal, Narcan only lasts for so long. I don't know how much you took and if those are going to take over the Narcan at some point. It would be in your best interest to go and sit at the hospital. They just hold you for 2 hours and then you're free.
The woman's not getting it. Ashley tries again.
The drug that I gave you might wear off before the drugs that you took. There's a possibility that this is going to happen again. I can't tell you yes or no.
The woman tells Ashley she feels fine. She says she's been clean for a while, but she just slipped up.
Hey, let me take you over and get you to talk to somebody.
It's not working. This happens a lot. Ashley knows she's not getting through.
Ashley, good? Yeah, thanks. You guys can, if you want to, you can take that stuff
So you
downstairs.
have nothing?
There's still a lot left for her to do. First, though, those calls take a huge toll on first responders, both mentally and physically, but it also takes a toll on ambulance company finances, like here at the West End Ambulance Company in Johnstown. Here, like at most local ambulance companies, they don't get money from the city or the state, which means they have to rely on emergencies to keep themselves funded. That money, though, is just not enough. Ira Hart's the manager of the West End Ambulance Service. He's in charge of keeping this place funded. On top of the emergency calls, they've started chauffeuring people from home to hospital, something they get paid for in advance instead of after. If they didn't do that,
I don't know that we have the doors open except for maybe one ambulance if we were lucky.
Hart says it costs an average of $600 for every call, but Medicare and Medicaid only give them about $200 per call. And then there's people who just don't have insurance or won't pay. Usually the ambulance company will never see that money, basically working for free.
We've risked our life to save your life, and there's no reimbursement to keep the doors open, so we're there for the next person.
It's especially tough on overdose calls. Those people far more likely to just walk away, skirting their bill. Last year, West End Ambulance went to 140 overdose calls. Hart says in those calls, they ended up losing a total of about $150,000. It doesn't just stretch their finances, it stretches their time, too.
But there has been days where, just for normal calls alone, we're drained, those stations are drained, and we have to call people in from a far greater distance to come in and cover a call that's in our area. Luckily, we didn't drop any calls, which means we didn't miss anybody who needed us, but the potential was there.
Back on Ashley's overdose call, we're headed back to the station. Patient's gone. She got up and walked away. Nobody could stop her, not the cops, not the paramedics.
Just don't win every battle. Sometimes you just don't win and you have to let them go. there are no words for how frustrating that actually is in the long run. It's hard. It's very hard.
Because she got into this job to help people. Instead, she's caught in the middle of a war, and her side is the one that's underfunded, understaffed, and underappreciated.
Their numbers keep growing and ours keep shrinking. And you can't, unfortunately, save them all, and that's the worst part about it. But we do our best.
I wish I could tell you the next part of this story is the solution, is people saying what needs to be done, but every time I do one of these stories, people tell me they don't know. There isn't one solution to all this. As people try to figure that out, though, some ambulance companies have already started shutting down, and some are still trying to grapple with how to keep themselves funded. In Johnstown, Dillon Richards, 6 News.